Well, hello and welcome to today's video where we will be discussing watch straps and watch bands and not watch bracelets. Bracelets would be metal, plastic, or a combination, a hybrid. That will be a separate video which I will do shortly after this and upload, but I don't want to mix it up because there is a wide variety of topics to discuss specifically on straps and bands, different type of buckles, different type of materials, etc. And they are a different breed. Bracelets are a completely different thing. So I do want to separate these two topics, but I will, when I do the bracelet video, I will bring in a couple of straps and bands so that the viewers do have some sort of comparison. Now, when I say straps and bands, what I mean is this would be a watch strap, and so would this. Anything that has this type of traditional buckle would be a watch strap. I call a watch band something like this, which has like a fold-over clasp. Mostly is made out of rubber, FKM rubber, silicone, etc. So these are bands, these are straps, so is the NATO, it's a strap. Okay, so let's start. I do have some talking points here, which is versatility, comfort, visual, aesthetics, and then I will say what my favorites are. Besides these watch straps that I have laid out here, just so that you have an idea of my experience with watch straps, I have, I don't know, probably 4 times more. I've experimented, I've purchased expensive straps, mid-tier straps, and cheap straps on AliExpress. And also what I will touch on in this video is that cheap does not mean bad or low quality, even though that's usually the case. We should not generalize that it always is the case. Here's another bag, a full bag of all kinds of different watch straps, watch bands, etc. So I've tried and used all kinds and can make some, general conclusions on what is best for me, and then obviously you will make your own judgment. Let me start with leather straps and say that I do not like leather straps. I don't wear leather straps 99.9% of the time. Also, there is only certain types of watches, obviously mostly dress watches, where I may put on a leather strap, and that would be on a dressy occasion where I'm wearing a shirt, maybe a suit, which is extremely rare. I don't like formal attire, so naturally I don't wear leather straps. Why I don't like leather straps is not because I don't like formal or dressy wear attire, but the fact that they're just impractical. So you get your hand wet unintentionally, it soaks it in. The leather will soak in wet water, that it will soak in sweat. And the unfortunate thing about leather, however comfortable it may be, right, is the fact that you cannot wash leather straps. So their life expectancy, so to say, is probably the lowest out of everything. Obviously we are comparing leather to synthetic materials, whether it will be nylon or any kind of rubber, silicone, and that is to be expected. So I'm not putting down any dressy wear, it's just not my preference, and whoever does prefer leather straps, you still can't get away from the fact that they get gunked up and you cannot wash them. Any type of rubber, silicone, FKM rubber strap, and even nylon, you can wash. So for hygienic purposes, there is a significant difference. The other thing is the selection of the leather materials available, and what type of leather it is, how it is manufactured. Well, leather is not manufactured, but prepared, I should say, I guess. And then what finishing, oils, colorings, etc. You will become a victim of all kinds of BS marketing saying that it is genuine leather. Genuine leather doesn't mean anything. Avoid whether it's a strap or a belt. If it says genuine leather, avoid it, because it may have particles of genuine leather, but remanufactured or lower grade leather, etc. That's a completely separate large topic, but basically there is two types of leathers that may be acceptable. But for straps, I would strongly recommend to go with full grain. If it says top grain leather, it will most likely have some sort of a synthetic coating on top, which will surely crack after a while. I'm sure many of you that have used leather straps will have experienced that it will either crack from the inside or from the outside or from both. Now, this is not a good example. This is a very good strap. I'm just, showing it. I don't have the cracked straps because I throw them out when they get cracked, so I can't show you that, but this is from a Zilos Swordfish Horween leather, exceptional quality, very, very comfortable, very pliable. It gets different shade colors as it stretches. It conforms to your wrist and everything. So the issue with leather straps is not comfort, it's not aesthetics until they get cracked up or deformed, etc. It's just that they get gunked up. And this Horween leather strap is actually the same material from both sides. So this would be a better example compared with this, for instance, or with this type of leather strap, where underneath you have a different type of leather, which may be coated leather, like they call it top grain, as I said, and full grain. Full grain is the top part of the leather, which includes the skin, maybe I should say, and then full grain is when that top grain is when that leather, skin part is sliced off with a razor, and the bottom part is used, and they call that top grain, which is completely illogical. It should be reversed. Top grain should be the top part of leather, and full grain you can call whatever's underneath, and you can call it genuine leather, sure, but it's not the best part of leather. So leather comes in at least 3 different grades. That will be, the best part will be full grain. The underneath of that full grain will be called a top grain for whatever reason, and then they will use the lower parts. They'll put coatings on it, etc., and they'll call it genuine leather. And that's just a difficult topic to agree with, or name to agree with, because there's very little genuine about it, even though it is part of natural leather. So yeah, this is from a Zelos, where I have never worn it on this. It's a what I have is a titanium Zelos swordfish. It has a beautiful bracelet, titanium bracelet. I wear it on that, or a rubber strap, or a FKM rubber strap. I do not use the Horween leather strap. This is came on a Lars Larsen, which is a dive watch, hence the thickness and robustness of the leather strap. Again, I don't wear it because it is actually a bit rough to put it on. It eventually conforms to the shape of your wrist, but for the basic reasons why I avoid wearing leather straps, same reason I don't wear this. This came on a Galaxy Watch 3. It's actually what you would call the dressy type, formal, with exquisite stitching, premium, genuine leather, it says. God knows what it is, what it's covered with in terms of coating, etc. May very well be full grain on this side at least, but I don't know. Also, it makes a huge difference whether it's cowhide, buffalo leather, calf leather, goat leather. They make alligator leather or alligator skin, whatever. For those reasons, I avoid the above mentioned reasons. I avoid all of these. Now, this is a hybrid strap. It is a somewhat, I don't know, a homage or a replica of the Crafter Blue. Crafter Blue makes these type of straps, and I just wanted to test out the hybrid strap and whether I would like it. This cost about $20 on eBay, and it was the only place where I found this specific design where the the rubber on the holes kind of comes up. I didn't like the other designs of hybrid straps that are currently available on AliExpress. So this is the one that is closest to the Crafter Blue versions, and the Crafter Blue cost $40. So I didn't want to go ahead and pay $40 for that possibility that I might not like it, I might not use it, but it is pliable, it is quite comfortable. But the main reason, I guess, why I'm not using it and not wearing it on my watches is because I have better options. So let's go to the better options now. So that pretty much sums up my take on leather watch straps, and I've given plenty of reasons why I do not like using them. Even though in terms of versatility, some of my talking points, comfort and visual aesthetics, it does get decent points, but because you can wear a leather strap on a sports watch or on a dressy watch, it is comfortable. Visual effects are pretty good if it's good leather. But in terms of versatility, like jumping in the pool, etc., you will find people saying that, oh yeah, I swim with my leather strap and it's fine and so on and on. But I don't believe that. I've experienced plenty of leather straps over more than almost 3 decades. So no, sorry, that's just BS. Leather straps need to stay dry. Done. So let's now go to rubber straps. Well, actually, let me do the nylon, the NATO straps first, and then once I get this out, I will then concentrate on rubber, silicone, FKM rubber straps and how I use them, and further details. Now, NATO straps, Again, I don't use them. I have plenty in all kinds of different colors, different buckles, different keeper setups. If you go with a NATO strap, I would advise this type where it's a flat rather than the wire type round keepers. And also I would advise, this is not how it came with from the factory, I cut off the underneath, because if you don't, you end up having to use having to add 2 layers of the nylon under your watch. I usually wear sports watches which are anywhere from 12 and a half to 14 millimeters in thickness. So you add 2 of these, it becomes a 16 millimeter watch, which is just too bulky for my own taste. The other thing that doesn't really go along with my preferences is the fact that when you wear a NATO strap, it is unavoidable that the contour will not be as slim as with a regular type of leather or rubber strap. You see how even though this is much thicker than the NATO strap, it follows the lugs and it doesn't bulge out. Look at any review videos, or if you have NATO straps, you know what I'm talking about. They have horrible bulges here. I've tried to kind of iron them out and shape them, all kinds of different methods I've used, but it's just unavoidable. And the other thing is, I don't like tugging. NATO straps are usually long, and then you have to tug them back and forth, you know, something like this. It will then come out of the other end, right? It'll come out, and then, well, this is not a good example, but you have to then tug it either here or tug it underneath, and it just adds unnecessary bulk. There are proper places and proper reasons to wear a NATO strap, and it was created for military use. And there, sure, I understand that it secures the watch on your wrist better than anything else, any bracelet, any rubber or leather strap, for the simple reason that if a spring bar goes bad, you are still you still have the watch attached with the other spring bar because of how NATO straps are set up, right? They go over and under on both of the lugs, both of the spring bars, so if one goes wrong, you don't lose the watch, it's still on your wrist. That is the only advantage. But when you can now get, and for very cheap, you can get the thick spring bars, whether it's Seiko type or which are the Seiko divers have 2.5 millimeter thickness. You can also get 2 millimeter thick spring bars, and I use my watches really rough. I do manual labor with mechanical watches on, and I have never had one of those good spring bars break. I haven't even had the cheap thin spring bars break, so I'm not concerned about this falling off. And also, please remember that NATO straps also have spring bars. So they have a spring bar right here, for example, where the buckle is connected to the nylon with a spring bar. And so if that breaks, then same happens, right? If that detaches, you can lose your watch from your wrist. So the idea that actually the old and original NATOs did not use that technique, and it was they didn't use spring bars. They would use this part of the buckle would just be bent like this, and you kind of slide on the ears or whatever, the legs. You slide the nylon on top of that and it holds it more securely. But in this case and in most of the contemporary NATO straps, you have a spring bar in here, which just does away with that whole security idea. But yeah, for me, even with this modification where I cut the shorter part of the NATO strap, I still don't like NATO straps, even though for versatility, hard use, and sweat, getting wet in water, etc. This is significantly better than a leather strap. So no, this is not also what I use. Now let's get out of our way these rubber straps, right? Again, straps, not bands, because all of these have buckles. And then I'll go to rubber bands, and I guess this one is also a rubber strap with fixed lugs, so it's a bit different. Now this came on my Casio Pro Trek, and obviously I took it off. It's a very nice silicone strap. It's not a rubber strap, I believe, but as I said, I don't like the buckles, and I don't like the buckle versions because of this added bulk, right? So as you can see, it's a different thickness here, and then right under your veins here, you've got this. Now you may think, well, you're wearing a fold-over buckle. How come you don't mind that? Well, let's look. This is more streamlined, to me at least, and there is way better flat areas on fold-over buckles compared to straps. Straps will usually have these keepers, and you see how these keepers protrude, regardless of whether you have them snug together or separate. Like usually people will do this to kind of have the buckle area tight, and then for this not to flop, so they may wear something like this. And this is even worse for your skin, because now you have 1, 2, 3 different points where it kind of pushes into your skin and leaves not permanent but marks, and is not very comfortable. So that is why I, even with the rubber straps, when I can replace them, I will always replace them with rubber bands. Material wise, I prefer FKM. FKM rubber has now become very easily available. There are European manufacturers, US manufacturers, and Chinese manufacturers that do them. And you can get a very good FKM rubber strap or rubber band on AliExpress, starting at about $11 on sales. Usually the price is around $15-16, and without any sales or coupons, you may even have to pay $20. But that's on AliExpress. You go anywhere else, you will actually see the same exact on Amazon, for example. This will sell for double the price as it sells on AliExpress. So yes, I've purchased plenty of straps and bands on Amazon, but I don't do that anymore, because most of it is just the same sellers that sell them on AliExpress, or retailers that will either purchase a bulk and then double the price on Amazon, or they'll come up with a name, a brand name, and stick that on here and sell the same exact straps, where actually it's something else. It just has a different new name on it, and it's a marketing trap. I shouldn't say scam, it's a marketing trap where you're overpaying basically. So that's from Casio. This is Bonetto Cinturini, Italian name. I don't know if the guy is Italian or not, but He makes all kinds of different designs. This is also his strap that has this carbon fiber texture on it. They make it in different thicknesses, and obviously the thicker it is, the less pliable it is. Even though it is FKM, rubber, but this is not the factory version. They usually come in the entire thickness is, even though it may shrink down. For example, this is 22, it comes down to 20, but I've modified this to fit on a Zelos on the fly adjustable clasp. So I did use this rubber band on my Zelos swordfish, and yeah, I prefer wearing this, for example, to the Horween strap, even though this is more comfortable just because of the high quality of leather. But yeah, for the above mentioned reasons, I just don't like wearing leather straps. So the good thing about Bonetto Cinturini straps is that they are vanilla infused. So both of these have a strong vanilla scent, which I very much enjoy. And then there are other brands we'll touch on, for example, the Crafter Blue, which also has a vanilla scent. It's just pleasant. When you're wearing the watch, there is a pleasant vanilla scent, but I have heard other users say that, oh, it's too strong, it's off-putting, etc. I didn't like it, it was kind of chemical. That's a matter of preference, and I like them. I like this as well as the Crafter Blue, even though I have a separate review of this specific strap, which I will link up here, the video to that review. But for me, this has a very weak scent. The Bonetto Cinturini ones have a stronger scent, which I don't mind. It's not overwhelming, you know. So out of all of the FKM rubber straps I have used, I've found one brand that on AliExpress that is better than that I prefer, I guess I should say, because preferences are individual, but I do like this brand very much. And the name of that brand, I don't want to put up a link because these links change quite often, but it's basically called JUELONG, JUELONG, and they make a wide variety of straps and bands. And so this is the same brand as these ones, same as, sorry, not this. This is watch types. I'll discuss that. These two, and this, and this, and even this. So they make, and all of these are FKM rubber. They're very nice, pliable, comfortable. And same with this, and same with this. So obviously I really liked the quality. I've paid $15-16 for this when there was no sales or when they were relatively new, but they have recently dropped their prices to $10.99, so for $11 basically, and most of them do have free shipping to the States. So let me put aside these thicker ones. So I didn't like this too much, even though it has a pre-curve. The texture on this I didn't enjoy much, and the quality also was a bit lower. It is not as pliable. It may also be the issue of the design and the molding. It is better than any of your silicone or harder, regular type of rubber bands. It is FKM rubber, but I didn't end up using this. I will tell you which ones I have preferred in terms of your traditional buckled FKM rubber straps, and that is these two designs. This one, this design, it's just different colors, and this design. But as I said, this is by Watch Dives, and I've had this similar, which I also modified. So I cut this down, drilled a hole, which was not easy, but I used this type of hand drill and slowly drilled it, but it's not an optimal. Always better to have this done factory in with a mold. But what I do want to touch on is, even though you will see that these two bands are visually identical, or straps actually, they are identical, but there is a difference. There are actually two differences that stand out to me. One is the thickness. This is the same brand as this and this, so it's the JUELONG brand on AliExpress. The watch dives, and these are expensive, comparatively expensive by a couple of bucks. So this you can get for like $7-8. This will cost you about $10-11. Well worth it, because even though these are a bit thicker, they're softer. They're better rubber than the watch dives. And watch dives, unfortunately, is like a cheaper version of whether it's a watch, whether it's a strap, whether it's a bracelet. It's mid-tier to low-tier construction quality, and I would not recommend, if you are to buy this type of waffle strap, I strongly recommend the JUELONG brand. And yeah, I should mention, I'm not affiliated to anything that I review so far, and I get no kickback, no percent. I don't have any affiliate links. This is just my own opinion based on my own experiences with these products. The one thing that I do not like on the JUELONG is that they only offer these models with quick release pins. And I don't like quick release pins because of their construction. I believe they are weak. So like I was discussing while I was talking about the NATO straps and the spring bars coming loose or coming undone, usually the way these are constructed, the on the fly adjust, not on the fly adjust, sorry, quick release pins, they have a weak point on this side, not on that side, but on this side they are weaker, and they may get deformed and eventually pop out. So that is the reason why I always, with the exception of this one, I always replace my quick release pins. As you see here, I just pop them out. It's actually quite easy. You grab this tip with a pair of pliers and you just push it out. It comes out, and then the whole thing will slide out. And then depending on the size of hole here, I will insert a 2mm or a 2.5mm strong spring bar in here, and then I know that I'm safe and secure. The watch dives version actually comes with regular they are made for regular spring bars. which as I said, I always prefer this. This is stronger. Another thing that I don't like about quick release pins is that the weak spot is not only on the spring but also on the band itself. This part right here is weak comparatively. Doesn't mean that if this tears that the watch will fall off, but I just don't like, I like robust practical things, so this doesn't pass my preference test. So waffle straps or any other FKM straps, if you want to get them cheap but of good quality, I can strongly recommend the JUELONG brand on AliExpress. Now, why I like this design so much is that this is the most comfortable FKM rubber straps I specify that I have found, and that I cannot give the kudos to the JUELONG brand, because just like this one, this is not their design. This is I believe Crafter Blue makes it, and there may be some other brands, but I think Crafter Blue, but whoever it is, I know that JUELONG did not come up with this design. It is a replica. Now, the beautiful thing about it is usually you need a bend for comfort, for the reasons of comfort. You need a bend here. You don't need much bend by the clasp. So there are rubber straps or bends that will be pre-bent. This is one example. This has a pre-bent molding on it. And here is another one. This is a silicone strap, and it is also pre-bent, slightly, but pre-bent. So manufacturers try to, so you'll see these grooves also. Obviously this is not their design, it's a Seiko design, but they will make all kinds of engineering solutions to make sure that it is pliable and it conforms to the shape of your wrist. But the most successful version in terms of engineering that I have found so far in FKM rubber straps is this, because of these perforations here, these holes. This makes it so that this section where you most need the bend is very easy to bend. So even though well, I was going to say it's thicker here than here, blah blah. Anyway, this is actually harder to bend, this section, even though it has holes, than this, which is to be expected because this has more holes. And so I very much like these straps. I've worn my watches, the dive watches, on these straps, and I don't have many complaints. Also, one thing to note is that this version, the JUELONG brand, has these keepers for that. Well, both are keepers, I guess, but it has the rubber notches here, or rubber ears, that holds the first keeper close to the buckle. And what that does is, when you tie this, it just makes sure that there is no bulge over here, and depending on where you need the other one, you can either slide it down. I kind of, actually that's approximately my size, so I will wear it like that. But if you have a smaller wrist, obviously your keeper may come up a bit higher. But yeah, if you like rubber straps, FKM rubber straps, I highly recommend that you try out this design and go with this brand. Even though there are a few other brands. Now, some will say rubber when you buy straps. This is all trash, for example, and I did not throw it out because I wanted to show you. when I purchased this, it said rubber, even said high quality rubber. Just gonna cut it because this is just trash. I'm gonna be throwing it out anyway right after this video, all of it, and I'll explain why. Don't get this, people. This Rolex rip-off, what these are called, these oyster style straps, oyster flex. So it even says oyster flex here, and it's not a genuine oyster flex, obviously, but there are a few gripes that I have with this type of straps. So first of all, they come in these two variations where one side is always predetermined. So this is done for the Rolex, this is 9mm. So it goes on to the Rolex fold over or a replica fold over buckles, metal buckles. The other side may be something like this, where you have to do the cuts yourself and size it to your wrist, or it may be like this. And that to me doesn't really make a difference. What matters to me is that this is basically plastic. It is horrible. Look at it. It's just like a spring, and it won't, regardless of how long you wear it, it just will not take the shape of your wrist. Another discomfort that I have found, and I don't have a genuine Rolex band that I think costs upwards of $300. I don't have a use for it. But on these replicas, for example, this brown one, even though it was purchased with some of the other ones, and I would expect them to be the same material, they are not. This doesn't say oyster flex on it, and as you can see, I have cut out this oyster flex section from them, but I still don't like it. It is way softer than the other ones. It does conform, and I wore it on this watch, but then I found the FKM rubber, this JUELONG brand, which is just night and day difference between these. The issue was that with the discomfort was that you see what happens to that. So when you wear it, it'll get all kinds of sharp points, and this is extremely uncomfortable, on top of the fact that it's just plasticky. The brown one is just extremely hard to bend, very plasticky. The best one out of this black one is also bad, so all of this right now will go to trash. So the softest one that I found out of this was this brown one, but still this issue of the oyster, whatever they call these ears or whatever, they just scrape against your skin, and they're extremely uncomfortable, have corners, sharp edges, etc. The other issue with this type was when I cut it out, this was actually to be expected, and I will show it on another strap. This, I believe, is silicone. So what happens is when you have this indent here, when this bends around, you see that shape that it makes. It kind of concaves, and that is also visually and for wear, it's just not that comfortable. And same happens with this. Even though this one is very pliable, it's thick, but it's pliable, but it's thick on this side, right? But because of that same concave, when you kind of bend it, you see what it does. That's not visually pleasing or comfortable. Also, these narrow sides are not comfortable, especially after you cut out on these versions. These are not comfortable. So basically, if you have a Rolex design type of watch. I do not suggest purchasing these cheap replica oyster flex type of bands or bracelets. I strongly discourage you from getting them. So let's throw this out now. This is all trash. Okay, so as far as we've done the discussion and reviews, this, if I were to wear a if I was to wear a rubber strap, I would go with FKM rubber. And in terms of design, because mostly I wear sports watches, I would go with this just because of the exceptional comfort. They have all kinds of colors. And I wear this strap, my wife wears it, and we both think that it's a very comfortable one, mainly again because of these perforations here, and it is very, very pliable and soft and easy to bend. So highly recommend. If you do get them, I would also recommend get rid of the quick release pins and insert your own pins if you have them. If you don't, buy them. They sell them like 10 pack, 5 packs on AliExpress, and go with, obviously, you know whether you need a 22 or a 20 millimeter strap, depending on your lugs. But the thickness for this type, I would recommend 2 millimeter spring bars, because these are actually made for 1.6 or 1.8. So the 2 millimeter ones fit snug in there, but they're okay. Don't try to put in a 2.5 millimeter spring bar in here, because you run the risk of tearing this weak spot here, and it is extremely hard to push it in. So 2.5 millimeters is too large for this. So now let's talk watch bands, right? Rubber watch bands. Again, everything that I have here and everything that I do use are FKM rubber. Sorry, just a second. I'm going to switch the camera and do a bit of zoom. So, as I said, all of these are the same brand as these straps here. And again, they make even other different designs. We have 3 different designs here. This is a crafter blue, so I'm setting that aside. But we have one design which is a strap, not a band. And then in bands, watch bands, I have 2 designs that I liked, but again, they make even more. Sorry, this is the Thor AliExpress brand, Thor case. I still have to put a mechanism and a dial in here. There's a very nice dial coming. It's in the mail, so once it arrives, I will do another build video on that. But so I have 2 designs that I like out of these rubber bands. One is with these 2 stripes. It resembles the Omega rubber strap. I think it is a strap on the Omega with a traditional buckle. Don't quote me on that though, but this design replicates that. And this is another kind of textured design, which I also like. The pliability is very nice on these FKM bands. In order to pre-shape them so that they're like this, I do use hot water. So what I will do is I use this mechanism holder, right? This is for NH35. So I will kind of roll them up I don't know, comment if you like to see that, and I'll do a separate video on that. I will roll them up, stick them in here, then put this into a cup or a deep dish and pour hot water, boiling hot water on it, and leave it for about 5 minutes. And then I put icy cold water, and I even throw ice in there, so that it kind of not freezes but stays in that shape. So the other method of pre-shaping your rubber or FKM rubber bands is doing something like this. I just have it in a container, and when I take this out, which I'll do just now, I can put this on a watch and it's ready for me. I don't have to feel any discomfort, etc. So as you can see, pre-shaped, very comfortable. And how I do that is, I mean, that's up to you. Right now I have a smaller container in here, so it leaves only this much space in. I will put kind of round this off and just slide it in there, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of the quality, again, these are good to use on diving watches. They are thick. As you can see here, it beautifully follows the lugs of the 62 mass homage. Same for the SBDX. They are thick, and visual is quite satisfactory on watches. One thing that I want to differentiate and specify on rubber bands, and this even applies to straps. So we have two examples here. So fixed lugs. I want to talk about fixed lugs and their comfort, right? If you do not have an opportunity to try watch with that specific watch with fixed lugs, I would suggest to be wary, and I'll explain why. Now, if you go into a shop, you like a watch and it has fixed lugs, by all means try it on, you know, kind of shake the wrist around if it's comfortable. And if the predetermined, right, this is predetermined, there is nothing you can do with this. If this fits your wrist, what is that saying, Jim is your uncle or whatever, so you should be quite happy. But if you're purchasing this without knowing what that shape is, because it may be different. So let's look at the this is the Crafter Blue and this is the Thor, and as you can see, they have a different shape. This one kind of goes out and then comes down more straight, as you can see. So this would be more comfortable on a different size wrist compared to this, where here you see it kind of continues, that it goes out, it comes down shorter than this thorn, but then it goes out wider. Thing is, this does not articulate, you see. Only the rubber, whatever give the rubber has, that's it. The rest, it does not articulate. And that may not be too comfortable on your specific wrist. Whereas if you have articulating lugs, this is way more comfortable regardless of your wrist size. Just trust me, because regardless of your wrist size, and if you're not wearing your watch very tight, which I don't wear it tight, it can slide up, down, you know, I don't want to cut off my blood circulation. Even though I'm amazed, I will see some people just tighten up their strap or band, and it's just tight, and they even say, I like to wear my watch tight. I don't understand, sorry. So if you go for comfort, this is better. because it articulates here and it can still have that oval shape to conform around your wrist. So this would be my preference over fixed lugs. You know, this is a $65 to $75 rubber strap, and this $10 both are FKM rubber. This is way more comfortable than this, and these are two exact same watches that I'm wearing right now. This is our Proximas, and Proxima doesn't sell the watch in this combination. I put this together with their parts, obviously, but so one I wear on this $10 JUELONG FKM rubber strap, and the other one I have on the, say, let's call it $70 Crafter Blue. And in terms of comfort, I prefer this. Where the fixed lugs win over the articulating lugs is the aesthetics, where if it is done proper and if it is done for that specific watch, it will give you that visual without gaps, and it's just a slimmer, slicker, better look basically than this. But I don't mind this look at all. It's by no means a bad look. It just has that tiny gap in there, and you know, it's just a better look with this. Same goes for a significantly cheaper strap. This is the Thorn one, but because the case and the strap are made for each other, there is a zero gap. It's a good quality one. I don't know, but it feels like, yeah, this is Thorn, you see, it even has that name, Thorn. It's an AliExpress brand. I do think this is FKM rubber, but if it's not, it is very good quality rubber. So no issues there. And I wish they made it with a buckle, fold over buckle. Because aside of this discomfort that I was explaining, just takes longer to put on and take off, right? So yeah, I'm not a big fan of buckles, as I've mentioned a dozen times already. Now obviously this brand, as I said, has plenty of colors, and you can match your dial color or your bezel color, or just go with your favorite color. Another thing that I will mention about selecting your bends is that it makes a huge difference, and depending on whether you have a light color or a darker color dial, you may want to go, you know, make your decision based on that. Examples. This I think looks beautiful. It's almost matching, and this has a red vibe. I'm happy with that. But and same goes for this, for example, this coffee color birch dial goes very nicely with the rubber strap. They match quite well, and this orange hand matches the bezel orange, and I love this build. This is my own build. Everything, you know, I got the case separate, the mechanism, the hands separate. Well, the bezel came with the case, and then I matched it with the FKM rubber strap, and the buckle I'm using here is not a fold over buckle. It's just a butterfly buckle is what the, well, no, not a butterfly buckle, but I guess a fold over buckle, I guess I should call it, because it folds over. This is another example of a fold over clasp, and this clasp came with this rubber band. So in terms of favorites now, let's lay out some favorites. Oh yeah, and regarding the color, sorry, I didn't finish. So now I have on the way a lighter color blue. It's like a sky blue. Same exact brand, same exact design, just because I love them. I mean, just get one and you'll see why. This is really, really good rubber band, especially when you're paying $11 for this, where it's even more comfortable than a $70 rubber strap. Sorry, Crafter Blue. So if you want your dial to kind of pop out, you may use a darker strap, and this sky blue kind of pops out more. Now if I put this on a similar colored strap, you kind of lose the emphasis of the dial. One other example is this sandstone dial, where the dial is dark and I put like a creamy, it's not white but it's creamy colored strap on it, which pops out the color of that dark dial with that, you know, starry night effect. Beautiful, beautiful dial. Whereas if you do matching of the band color with the dial, it kind of mellows it out, and there's not so much emphasis because the color continues through on the band as well. So that's a matter of preference and how you prefer to wear it. Now this would work beautifully with a black rubber strap. I've worn it, and sometimes I'll switch them up, right? Similarly, there is a lot of red. There is red on the dial, red GMT hand, red on the bezel. So this also works quite well on a red rubber band or red rubber strap. So let's talk favorites now, and it should be quite self-evident. In terms of rubber bands, this version is my favorite, and it only costs, as I said, $11 on sale and maximum $15 to $16 without the sale. You cannot go wrong with this. And for the rubber straps, this specific model, it is the most comfortable rubber strap that I have used for over 3 decades, as I said. Now both are FKM rubber, and obviously that also makes a difference. So that will be it for my inclusive guide to watch straps and watch bands. Thank you very much to those that stuck with me for what is it now, over 1 hour video. I do hope that I covered most of the basic points that you may be interested in while selecting what you want to put on your watch. And as promised, in a few days, or I don't know, maybe next week, I will be uploading a separate video for bracelets. As I said, a bracelet is a completely different topic, but in that video I will also touch on and make some comparisons with my favorite bands and straps. Thank you very much again. If you found the video interesting, please spend a couple of seconds to give it a like and subscribe if you like this content, because I will be uploading constantly uploading this type of videos, watch build videos, modification videos, and so please subscribe. Have a good one, and thank you.